Hi, I am Steve Montoya, and welcome into this special report called Beyond the X, where we tell stories that go beyond just the playing field. If you had to name the most iconic sports figures ever, who would you name? Maybe Michael Jordan? Babe Ruth? Well, they're definitely up there, but arguably the most iconic sports figure ever is Muhammad Ali. Well, his grandson is making a name for himself in a different sport. Biagio Ali Walsh is an up-and-coming star at Bishop Gorman in football. And let's go to the phone line right now where we have our senior columnist Mitch Stevens on the line. And Mitch, you got to catch up with Biagio and his family, so let's talk about the grandson of Muhammad Ali. All right, Mitch, people want to know, I think, first of all, before we get into anything, how good of a football player is he?
Well, that's a great question. He scored 10 touchdowns in 4 games. That's some evidence. But their coach, a freshman coach who's been there 34 years, his name is Rob Bergman, not to be confused with Ron Burgundy. He called him, a phenomenal football player, and he said that he has as much skill and he works as hard as any player he's had in 34 years of coaching. So he's a legitimate player, and Tony Sanchez, the varsity coach, likes what he sees, and he's being cautiously optimistic, but he likes his size and definitely his speed. And I've seen him play in person, and he has got very good speed, and he really zigs and zags. I would say by his junior year, he could be their go-to back there on the varsity.
And then Mitch, what kind of kid is he off the field?
Well, if this Bergman is any indication, well, first of all, I obviously spent time with him. He's soft-spoken. He's he's like a normal, 15-year-old kid. He's funny. His mother, Rakita, says that that's what reminds him of her father and her son, is that he's a funny kid. But he's, the way Bergman describes him, I guess the best way is he said that if you had a daughter, you would want him to marry him. He's that kind of kid. He says yes sir, no sir, and he doesn't rest on his lineage or his name or anything. So on my dealings, he's just been a great kid.
That's great. And so to get a little bit into his grandfather here, when did he actually realize that his grandpa was such an iconic figure?
Yeah, there's a couple instances that are really funny. Basically he just knew him as basically there's a couple instances. One time, the most vivid memory he told me was the 2007 Orange Bowl. And the 2007 Orange Bowl, they honored Muhammad Ali and Arnold Palmer at the same event. And during the coin toss, the entire 80,000 fans at Dolphin Stadium just started chanting, Ali, Ali, Ali. And at that point, I think he was like 8 years old at the time, knew that his poppy was more than just his grandpa. He was an iconic figure.
So is he close with his grandfather?
He is. He really is. Now, Muhammad Ali lives in Scottsdale, Arizona. They obviously Biagio lives in Las Vegas. They Skype or FaceTime after every game, and he communicates with his dad, who he has Parkinson's disease, so his communication skills are up and down. So, but they are close. He says Muhammad Ali communicates how proud he is of him. You can just tell when he talks about his grandfather. There's an affection, not just a respect, of what all he did, but I could tell there's a kind of a tenderness there. So I think they are very close, and they get together occasionally. Muhammad Ali shows up unexpectedly, so it's a neat thing.
And finally, Mitch, how is he received around Bishop Gorman? It's a place we've kind of come to know with other celebrity and athletic kids. That's right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Randall Cunningham Jr. is a quarterback. You got Chase Maddox, is the son of Greg Maddox, is on the baseball team. You have Gary Payton's boy, Julian. He's a sophomore in the program. And then, so there are names there already. So celebrity is it's not a big deal there at Gorman. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people really know. He looks more like his father, Italian background, and he doesn't look like Muhammad Ali. So you would never, you make that connection. His middle name is Ali. He just received like any other kid. I think as news gets out, he's going to have some adjustments for sure, but he's prepared for it. His mom and his dad are great people, and they have prepared him well, and I'm sure it won't be a hindrance or a problem.
That right there is Mitch Stevens, senior writer and columnist for MaxPreps. Thanks, Mitch, for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And thanks again to our senior writer, Mitch Stevens. For more on Biagio Ali Walsh, just head to our homepage right now where you will find the full series Beyond the X. Our photographer, Jan Henry, and our videographer, Tony Mix, got much, much more. For all of us at MaxPreps, I'm Steve Montoya. Thanks for joining us here on this special report.